Hello, my name is Diana and I'm an art therapist, and I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about making art and the importance of creativity, especially given our circumstances right now. And then I want to give a couple examples of ways that you can make art at home, either with kids or just as adults ourselves. So first, I just want to briefly talk about what art therapy is. So art therapy is a form of therapy done with a trained art therapist. It offers support for emotional, social, and physical well-being. Art media can be used for a form of emotional expression and communication, and you don't need any kind of artistic ability or talent in order to participate, and it can benefit any age group. And so I'm not going to be taking you guys through art therapy today, but what I am going to be talking about are the benefits of creating art. And so right now, a lot of us are shaken out of our usual routines. There's a lot of uncertainty around what's going on and when it's going to end. We might be feeling isolated, we might be feeling bored, we might be home with kids that really need a lot of activity. And we can all benefit from some activity right now. And art can really provide that. Art can provide entertainment, art can provide a release for some of those big emotions that we might be experiencing. It can help build connections and communication between people. And it can get some of that stuff out that we might be feeling so that we're not just holding it all inside. It can relieve stress, it can build confidence, it can help exercise our creativity muscle, which we all have. And so I just really want to stress the importance of the fact that you don't really need to have any creative talent or ability to participate in the things I'm going to suggest today and to really reap the benefits of them. And so I encourage you to just focus on the process and really accept whatever product. So the first three things that I'm going to talk about that you can do at home right now, you can definitely do with kids. And so the first one I call Pass the Picture. So it can be done kind of like a game. You do need at least one other person to do it with, but you can do it with a whole group of people too, depending on who you're with right now. And so all you need for this is blank paper and drawing materials. And you can use any drawing materials that you have: markers, crayons, colored pencils, even just regular pencils. And so you can start with one piece of paper or one piece of paper each. And so you're just gonna draw one or two things on the paper. And so I'm just gonna draw a circle here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pass this paper to somebody else, and they're gonna add on to it and draw something. And so they can add whatever they want to your drawing, and then you can continue to add and pass it back and forth, and it can be as silly or as serious as you want it to be. And you can have as many people as you want and join in this. And it can be a way of connecting with other people through art making. And so the second thing that I'm going to talk about today that you can do at home, I actually don't have a name for it, but all you need are coffee filters, washable markers, and water and blank paper. And so you're going to take a blank coffee filter like this, and you're just going to completely color it in with your markers. And you can do any kind of pattern, whatever colors you want, but you just want to make sure the whole thing gets filled with marker. And once the whole thing is filled, and like I said, you can use as many colors as you want. I'm just kind of doing it quickly right now. And then you're going to take some water. So I have a spray bottle with water that I'm going to use, but you can use anything you want as long as it's going to get wet. You can use a sponge or a brush. You just want to get the filter wet and on the paper. And so once it's completely wet, because the marker is washable, it's going to start to seep onto the paper underneath. And then I want to show you an example of one that's a little bit dry at this point. So when you take the coffee filter off, you're kind of left with this design. And so especially for kids that don't know what's going to happen, it can be a really fun and magical experience. And so the last thing that I want to suggest as far as my three things that you can definitely do with kids is sponge painting. And so I know that paint can be a little bit scary to use at home. So I would definitely suggest using washable paint, especially if you're using this with kids. And so all you need are washable paint, paper, thicker paper if you have it, but if not, just regular drawing paper will be fine. A place to put the paint, so I recommend a paper plate. I have a palette here today with my paint on it. And then a clean new dish sponge. And so I just cut mine into 2 squares, but you can cut yours into different shapes. If you want to do circles or diamonds or triangles, you can do different shapes. And so what you're going to do is take your sponge and kind of cover it with the paint. And then you can just sponge it right on the paper to create the shape. You can start to mix different colors together, which can be fun if you have primary colors at home, like red, blue, and yellow, and mix them together to create different colors. So I'm going to put these on top of each other to start to create a different pattern. You can also use the sponge like a brush and kind of paint on the paper. And so it's a different way of interacting with the paint. It can be a lot of fun. It's very hands-on, which kids really love to do and can be a lot of fun. And so the next 3 things that I want to suggest are things that I would gear more towards adolescents and adults, although kids can certainly participate as long as they have some adult support to help them through it. And so the first thing I want to talk about is collage making. So what you need to create a collage would be either magazines that you're finished reading, or newspapers. You can even use tissue paper or wrapping paper, whatever you have at home. You might want to use some scissors, glue stick, or clear tape if that's what you have, and maybe a new paper that you can put your collage onto. And so you're just gonna cut out or rip out words and images that you like. You can create a theme for your collage, such as a certain color. It could be based on a word, it could be based on a feeling. And collect things that make you think of that to create your new image. And so I want to show you a couple examples of collages that I've made to give you an idea of the variety. And so this was a smaller collage that I did make. Let me see if you can see that. And then I want to share with you a much bigger collage that I made. And so collages, like I said, can be done on separate pieces of paper, but they can also, you can do like the cover of a book or the cover of a notebook. So this one I did actually with packing tape. Just to give you an idea of some of the variety of ways that you can make collages. So for this next one, it's really focused on relaxation and finding some calm and peace. And so what you would need is just a blank piece of paper and drawing supplies or coloring supplies, and you can use whatever you have that's available. So you're going to start by making a circle on your paper. It can be a big circle, it can be a small circle. It's really up to you. And then you're just going to spend some time just mindfully coloring in the circle by creating different shapes, lines, colors, whatever feels good. Something that you can take as much time as you like to fill it in. And it's something that'll come out different every time you come back to it and start a new one. And then the last thing that I want to talk about today is more of an active way of kind of creating art during this time where we're kind of very stationary and stuck at home. And so it's something I call a photo scavenger hunt. And it's something you can do by yourself, or you can do with other people, or other people that might be in other homes or in other areas. So you start out with a list of things that you want to try and find. So examples could be you find something red, find something fuzzy, find something shiny. And what you're going to do is either walk around your apartment or house, or if you can and feel okay to do so, going outside for a short walk or even in front of your house and trying to find things that fit that thing on your scavenger hunt and taking photos of them, either with your phone or with a digital camera, whatever you have access to. And then if you're doing it with other people or even other people that might be in other areas, you can send each other the photos or look at them together and see what they took a picture of for the something shiny and what you took a picture of, and kind of talk about it and connect that way. So it just offers a way of getting a little more active with art. And so those are my kind of suggestions of things that you could do today around the house depending on what supplies you have. And I really encourage you to try to go and make some art today. And notice if it helps break up your day a little more or helps bring you a little more ease. And just thank you so much for taking the time to look at this video, and I hope you get creative today.